Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Many of you are probably used to seeing who have seen our Monolith Monday presentation before. Used to seeing Megan Ryberg, our marketing extraordinaire. She is currently traveling to a conference, the Techno East, the Digital Forensics, um, Techno Security and Digital Forensics Conference. And if any of you are there, please stop by and see us. We will all be there this week. So. Let me see what I've shared here. Let me go ahead and I think I've shared the wrong thing. This is why we all desperately need Megan. Okay, let's try again. Off to a strong start here. I've okay, I've managed to use. All right, there we go. I had multiple monitors. I don't know if you all have ever shared a screen on Zoom and can be sympathetic to the hidden stop sharing screen was somehow like right off of my screen that prevented me from finding it. Here we go. Okay, and we're back. So you all got a little brief preview with my meeting notes of what we were going to talk about today. But here are the kind of overall agenda notes. So I'm going to give an overview of the tracking lab equipment and software in Monolith, just what that is, what that entails. Talk about equipment, talk about software, how you can export that to Excel, and then give a brief look ahead. We've got some exciting features coming down the pike here. So I'll be excited to talk to you all more about that. So first, some of you might already be using the this feature in Monolith, though I know a lot of labs, and I'm not naming any names, have maybe a like a series of spreadsheets that are tracking these things scattered across devices. It can be hard to track when licenses lapse, equipment, you kind of like lose track of where equipment is assigned, where it lives, who it lives with. And it can be painful for the auditing process to then have to go back through and kind of figure this out, annually. So the idea with lab management is that it solves this problem. So all I've done here is I had notes open in a case. If any of you are following along in Monolith, I'm going to keep those open as our agenda. And then I just clicked into this lab management section. So the way that it's currently set up is we've split lab management into forensic software and equipment. There's some changes coming down the way where we're going to have a unified asset management section here, which will allow you to view both in one place, which is exciting. But I'm kind of giving you a preview of this as it exists now, so you can be even more excited for those changes down the way. So let's go ahead and start with a piece of equipment. Also, I didn't mention at the beginning, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to raise a hand or drop something in the chat, and I will respond. So um, pretty standard. I'm going to kind of add a piece of equipment and then show you um, what, yeah, like kind of what this looks like and some other features along the way. So an asset number is just going to be however your lab tracks equipment numbers. Here we go. Vendor, kind of the standard vendors that you might imagine. I'm going to, for equipment, add a Sumuri device who make great workstations and are actually going to be at the conference as well, I believe. Equipment name. So you can imagine what the name is. I'm gonna leave this blank for now. And instead, I'm gonna say, I don't really care about the equipment name for this piece of equipment. I actually really only care about the model. So I'm gonna use model instead of name to track. As you can see, you can add your own name. That's something a unique new value or select from a dropdown. So if you have, like a MacBook Pro, for example, and you have five of them in your lab, you don't have to continue to enter that device information each and every time. Um, you can select from that dropdown. So this is a forensic workstation, serial number. I'm just going to do that, but I'm assuming this device has a unique serial number. Um, let's say we purchased this on May 11th. Dates you can also customize and have in the settings section your own date layout as just a little plug for that if anybody would like to change their dates. So my layout is this way, but yours might be different. Cost of one of these workstations, I think. Barcode so that you have something unique that can be scanned. Location, there's also going to be some updates coming to location where you'll be able to track almost like we have for chain of custody, moving from person to person, um, the record of that location item as well as where it lived. This can be tracking this out to an individual. This can be tracking it out or checking this out to an individual checking it out to a location. So I'm going to check this out to employee one is responsible for this workstation and then add this piece of equipment. So now we've got this new equipment. Typically, you're not going to have this much equipment. This is our demo tenant that we use to test things out and to show customers. So we've got a lot of stuff in here, but I mean, or maybe you do. Maybe your lab has a ton, but you can scroll down to the bottom and you'll see this new equipment added. You can, edit like any other object in Monolith, add description. I want to actually now take this piece of equipment and give it to employee two. I can just edit this here and save changes, and we'll see this has employee two and it's out of description. Again, this is going to be an exciting kind of feature that we've got coming down the way where you can see what the history of where this has been, also add validations and attachments. So you'll be able to attach invoices, PDFs, validation reports to pieces of equipment as well. So that's all exciting stuff to look ahead in this section as well. That's a little look ahead with this filter. Software, very much the same. And these are designed to be the same so that kind of once you get one, you kind of get the other, um, but yeah, let's go ahead and add a piece of software so you can see how that works. Again, very similar. I've got a little demo software here. So let's add, let's say, um, our software is the Celebrate Premium license. So that's what we're going to call the software. We'll have the license name, which we might call the same. Those of you who are more savvy as digital forensics folks and not a software engineer, you might have more sophisticated ideas on what these things should be named. Same deal as equipment. We're going to have a purchase date. What is new is having expiration date for software. This will be coming to equipment as well, which is exciting, but I'm going to just arbitrarily put an expiration date. We'll talk more about that later. We'll put a number for this. SMS is software maintenance and service is, I believe, what it stands for. But I know many of you may be familiar. There's the fixed cost of buying the software, and then there's a lot of software that also has ongoing costs associated with it. I believe on an annual or quarterly basis, but I'm just going to put a number in there. I'm not sure what that is or how much that would be, but you can track that here as well. License key. Dongle is if you have a hardware dongle that is associated with this device, you can also track that here with the software. And in fact, I'll just put kind of numbers in here. Let's say we've got a number associated with that. And then same thing for location. It can either be a human or a location. We'll say it's Megan's lab and description. And voila, we've added a software device. And then we'll be able to see it here. So what's exciting about software is we also have expiration. And again, this is coming to equipment. So by default in Monolith, 90 days out, 60 days out, 30 days, 7 days, and the day before, you get software expiration notifications. So this is an example of what they look like. Software in 90 days, 60 days, 7 days, tomorrow. These will also stack. So you might get a single email that says, software A is expiring in 90 days, software B is expiring in 7 days, and software C is expiring tomorrow. And that will all come in one email. Those notifications can be enabled or disabled in our settings. There is a notifications option up here. So you go to settings down here. I know sometimes I kind of click around this platform quickly. So I always try to not just be bouncing around like crazy. And there's this option here, so you can notify when software is about to expire, and you can just turn that off if you do not want to receive notifications about software expirations. So that is equipment and software. The other exciting thing, which is true of every monolith table, but particularly for software notifications, is you can, or for forensics equipment and software, you might already be tracking these things as a spreadsheet. You can always download in Monolith an Excel export of the table and then of pretty much any table. And so if your lab is already tracking it, tracking these things in this way, you can, I'm just going to see if I can successfully share here this time. Here we go. Here's an example. You can just export your list into an Excel document. So this is a list of software from our demo tenant. So again, this is a demo tenant, so there's going to be some kind of weird wonky data in here probably, but you can see all of the information that we had: vendor, software, license name. We have our purchase date, we have our expiration date, and cost and location, etc. So that is always an option to go back to kind of the way that you were if you were doing Excel documents, or maybe there's somebody in your lab that wants to see it in Excel document form or approve things in that form. That is an option. Also true of any monolith table, but particularly useful in this case is expiration dates is a good example. Say I want to see, it's June 1st today, and I want to see what is set to expire before we've got our filter system here. So I want an expiration date that is before June 30th to see if anything's expiring now. So yeah, this is a demo tenant. So again, we've got a lot of software expiring, but maybe you do too. Maybe there's software that actually nobody has used for a year, and this can be an opportunity to say, hey, actually this, physical, Celebrate Analyzer expired 4 years ago, although that seems unlikely. But nobody's using it, so maybe we should actually get rid of it. This can be a good opportunity to audit what you're using regularly and details about it that might be easy to forget otherwise. So that is the the kind of big rundown of software and equipment. Um, as I said, just a preview. Let's go back to our agenda here. Preview of things coming to get excited about, and this will be, you know, um, later this summer, possibly by the end of this month, we'll have this asset management section so that you can see both forensics software and equipment in one section. Validation. So if you want to, test software equipment or hardware, make sure that it's working, doing and are doing validation reports as a part of audits, that can be included there. Kind of a similar chain of custody type of a feature where you can see who is keep track of who owns what. Activity log, to just be able to kind of better see the what's going on with your equipment, and then just equipment and software, and then just attachments for any additional documentation that you would like to attach. That will now be possible. So let me make sure I didn't miss any conversations in the chats or Q&A, since Megan is usually our extraordinaire there. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, feelings, concerns about the software and equipment journey here? Let me make sure. Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Well, this has been a rundown of our software and equipment. If anyone has, any questions, feel free to contact us. Support@monolithforensics.com is our support line. We respond very quickly to that. You can also reach out directly to me. Spencer at Monolith is my email. If you are attending Techno East, we hope to see you there. And otherwise, hope everyone has a great week. And thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.